get a pen and paper and write down, what is it that I'm choosing not to know? What is it
Mm.
that I'm pretending not to see? What is it that I don't want to look at? Why has this triggered me? And just write and put a timer on for 20 minutes. I have one on my desk. I put this little timer on for 20 minutes and I will just write. And I'll keep writing until 20 minutes is done. And then often I'll turn it off and continue to write because suddenly things are churning up that I'm like, wow, I had no idea I was still carrying this.
Yeah. So you gave yourself permission to unpack for 20 minutes and it just opens and releases.
Right.
Welcome back to the Dana Grant Show, where we have someone special in the house today and a personal, I have a lot of affection for her because she changed my life. Welcome, Lisa Williams. And, we're going to dive into that story. We just talked about it a little bit behind the scenes, but she is not only a renowned psychic, she comes from a lineage of psychics that, I mean, she's done TV shows, she's been in front of millions of people, stages. I've been in the audience of thousands of people of readings that you've done. Yeah, I've watched you connect to dead people. I've watched you profit. I've watched it all, and I also know the accuracy.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to be here. It really is.
Oh, I'm just so glad to connect with you today and to share some fundamental things that I think people need to know about connection and
Right.
trust and truth and intuition. You know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how you feel about this, but we'll start here. I often say when people say I trust my gut, and I'm like, well, why would you trust your gut? It's attached to your spleen, and that's all your fear. Trust your intuition, and I think it lives differently in the body. And I don't know where I figured that out, but what do you think about that?
No, I actually agree with you. All right. So if we look at spleen and stomach, it's on the spleen and stomach is a circuit together and acupuncture meridians, and it is attached to worry. And so when people talk about trusting your gut, the reason why it is they say that is scientifically it's connected to the vagus nerve, and that's where our intuition lies. But so I do understand that, but I also recognize there is that, hey, it's that worry. But when we actually put our faith into our intuition, that worry goes. So, we have to realize that our intuition is the most powerful thing that's going to keep us safe.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that. When I think about that now, I've watched your evolution and you probably always did this, but now you're teaching neuroscience. You're a life coach. Everything is blended. You've created this bigger platform. It isn't just readings. It's not just people coming for answers, but you're teaching people now how to show up and live better lives, heal their lives. And that's so much in alignment. I dig that so much. What do people want the most from you every day?
You know what? They want me. They want me to give them hope.
Mm.
That's exactly what they want, is they want hope.
Mm.
They want either me to tell them that it's going to be okay, to give them a pathway forward that provides hope, or they want hope from their loved ones. That's why I feel that I have to show up in a variety of different ways because hope just doesn't come from, hey, I'm going to speak to your dead people. It
Yeah.
comes from a variety of different techniques and trainings. And also, the reason why I dove into the neuroscience was because I felt there was such need to actually have the scientific proof about what we do. The fact that there's science behind it and it's normal.
I love that. So, just talking about that, a little woo-woo, a little bit of science, a little bit of magic, all of it coming together. I walked in my office this morning at 5 a.m. and this dime, as shiny as could be, was right on my floor. I picked it up and I put it down, and I had dropped your deck yesterday and it went all over my floor, the Divine Wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
And I picked it up. Well, someone, my housekeeper who's not supposed to come in here, picked it up and put it on my desk. And this was the card that I picked this morning, which was The Truth Lies Within Us. And my book is launching. I think we just talked about the truth
Yeah,
within a lie. The truth, and I'm like, did that just say the truth within the lie? But it says the truth lies within you. I mean, talk about synchronicities,
yeah.
energy, and support and guidance. It's like we're so friggin' connected.
You are, and you can't make it up, can you?
You can't make
Really
this.
can't. I mean, seeing a dime, all of these things, you just can't make it up. It's I'm so happy that and congratulations on your book.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I wouldn't have done it had I not started the journey, and I'm gonna give you some kudos there. I think, I tripped into it. It's like you became on my radar, and when you were on my radar, it was like a lighthouse radar. it was calling me in like a beacon. And I started your circles. I think it took months to get in to do a reading, and I did it. But I think I felt, and I think this is where our intuition, I felt the shattering. I felt something deeply wrong, and I was looking for answers. And you actually gave them to me. And we just talked about, again, behind the scenes, that it all unfolded exactly as you guided. But I love the fact that you did not give me the doom and gloom. You gave me the hope and the vision of what was to come beyond the storm.
Right. We live in the doom and gloom. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. When people come to see someone like myself,
Yeah.
is they have got this doom and gloom in front of it. Our brains are naturally going to cycle in that way anyway. So we don't need any doom and gloom. So I often say, listen, I'm going to show you what the outcome is. I'm going to show you what your possibilities are. You choose your outcome, but know that it's going to be okay. And I have a friend of mine who says this great quote. She says, "You've survived 100% of your bad days."
I love that quote.
And it's so powerful. And I think,
I'm
when
looking at that quote right now. It's right in front of me.
okay,
It's
so
crazy. It's another sign. Wild.
it's
Yeah.
another sign. So
Yeah.
you have to realize, yes, while everything is not hunky dory and, hearts, flowers, and romance, we have to realize that we are in control of our own destiny. And if we put our effort, our time, effort, and energy into maneuvering and actually facing our issues head on and realizing that we have to do something rather than hiding, which, trust me, I've hidden for years before. But when we actually face something, we can control the outcome. And that is where the power is.
Yeah, I love the knowledge in that. There's so much knowledge, and I love the fact you did the neuroscience, the science based. I love the combination of all of it. And I
Right.
always, someone said the other day, and I said it's even biblical. Everything everything is connected, and
Yes.
the stories. I mean, they don't differentiate. I want to talk about something coming up for you, and I think you're going to give a free gift in the end, and we'll get to that. But you talk about the quiet grief that we live with.
Yeah.
Let's unfold that because that's powerful.
Yeah, the quiet grief. No one realizes that it's grief. Okay. So, they think, oh my gosh, my kids are leaving home. I'm running ragged. I can't sleep. Why can't I sleep? My diet's all over the place. I'm frazzled. I've got brain fog. And when we unpick it, and I work predominantly with women who are 40 plus, and when we unpick it, what we don't realize is that we have coped. We have coped with empty nesting, divorces. We've coped with children not talking to other parents and things like that. We've actually
Menopause.
menopause. Actually, I will tell you, because I went into menopause at the age of 32. Now, at that time, there is something that significantly happens in a woman. I grieved the fact I was not going to ever have any more children. And irrespective of how old we are, when we go into menopause, there is something that we actually grieve without realizing it, because suddenly we are grieving our youth. We are grieving the childbearing nature of us, because we were put on this earth to give life. And now, us going into menopause, we are grieving the fact that you are not able to have life. And you don't realize this. And it's the quiet part of it. And like I said, I went through menopause at 32 with a hysterectomy. And at that point, I recognized it. Now, all of my friends are going through menopause right now. And I went, you're grieving your old life. You're grieving the life that you had and how you're supposed to feel. And at that point, this new normal, we're changing things. And it is grief. And it underlies the surface. And so we're waking up at night. We can't sleep. We've got all of these things. And as women, we are putting pressure on ourselves, so much pressure on ourselves to show up how we used to show up, to hold it together. And we have to realize we don't have to hold it together. And so I really felt very passionate about talking about this quiet grief, this grief that is within us, that is so deep seated that we don't even know it's grief. All we know is that it's change, it's transformation. And we don't know how to be now, because who are we now? We're in this cycle and we don't know who we are. So yeah, there's so many facets of it for women, especially.
Right. you're speaking to a lot of my audience right now that may be in that space right now of transition and maybe they're looking at it as reinventing themselves and shedding layers. How do they celebrate this new chapter? You know, when I hit 60, I'm like, wow, this is a whole new chapter. But I had the hope because in years ago and almost a decade, you told me at this age things were going to go ba-boom, and that's what I heard almost at 60. And you
Right.
said, wait for it, but it's going to be a little rocky. And it was, there was the building and the rocky and the Saturn in my house that was disruptive and disassembling and all the things. And the hidden grief is what brought me to you. And I
Right.
didn't know it. I thought I was sad, and I didn't know what was going on, and, yeah, postmenopause, because that was, like, I think at 46, but, yeah, I didn't know how to deal with that either. But
Right.
what would you say to the women that are listening that might resonate with this? What can we tell them? That there is life after the grief? How do we help them grieve? How do we help them support that?
Well, first of all, they may not actually want to admit that it's grief.
Yeah.
And I think whatever name you want to put on it, I'm going to
Yeah.
say put your name on it. Whether it's change, whether it's transformation, whether it's grief, whether it's sadness or depression, put whatever you want on it, but don't live in it. And then get yourself into a really solid practice. Put yourself first every single day. And I say to everybody, you are the most important person in your life. Because if you are not connecting with that and you are not allowing yourself to be the most important person in the life, you are going to put everybody else in front of you. Now, this is not ego. And a lot in the spiritual woo-woo world, you know this. Oh, just get out of your ego. No, I'm sorry. I need my ego at this point because I need to take care of me. I am worthy because if I can't do me, I'm not going to be able to show up for you. And so even if it's getting up 30 minutes, an hour earlier, set yourself a really solid spiritual practice. Sitting in silence, whether it is prayer, whether it's meditation, whatever you believe, having that silence to connect to you, to connect to the breath. Start journaling, start doing affirmations. Do something that's going to help you. Start moving your body. Because when we start moving our body in the morning, I don't want to get up and move, but trust me, I do. But when we move our body, we get our energy going. It changes everything. We have all of these endorphins flooding through our body. Our brain all of a sudden switches on. And guess what? We don't have brain fog. And it really helps us. We have to do it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a morning person. I don't enjoy mornings. I'm a slow morning girl. But I get up and I make sure I get out of my bed within 30 minutes of my eyes opening, and I'm in my front room and I'm doing what I need to do because it's just something that I have to, I have to do for me.
Right.
And that's the important part of it. I say there is hope. You have to take control of it.
I absolutely love that, and I'm gonna confirm that I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't do that every day.
Right.
And I people think I'm an early riser and a morning person. I get up, but that time I spend is quiet time with me, meditation, prayer, everything I need for me to start the day. If I didn't do that, I would be off sync and out of rhythm and probably not have the energy that I have. They're like, "How do
Right.
you have so much energy?" Well, because I get up and I sometimes I just look at the birds outside and the sky, it's still dark. Maybe the sky is waking up. But I do it because it feeds me something that I have to have. And it is a practice and it's a non-negotiable. I love that you added that in. You
Yes.
know, you've gone from family legacy TV shows, to books, to global healing, to now holding circles in space for what? What would you say your evolution is now? What are you doing now?
I would actually say I'm more in the emotional space. I really
Mm,
love helping. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I studied neuroscience and psychology, but
mm,
what I enjoy is I love taking people, recognizing where their emotions are held in their body. And so if we look at it, when we have grief, so I'll often do a reading, I'll often help them. And then I'm like, oh, this health issue. And they're like, yeah, I've had it. And then we start putting correlations together. They've had it since their mum passed away. Oh, and then we start realizing that this emotion is held because their mum passed away, but they're also holding on to this grief of their mum dying, but they were a narcissistic mom and they thought that they would be so happy that mom passed. And now suddenly they're in this real cycle of grief. And it's unpicking it, unlayering all of this emotional attachment that we have to sometimes toxic relationships. And it plays out in our body. And that's really where I'm going now. I love people taking people through the transition of death. I love helping in that healing space. I always say, if I can't heal you, I'm going to help you pass, because there's nothing more natural than dying, and also having a baby, because we all got to do it. How we choose to do it is important. And then afterwards, let me help the family heal.
Right.
I think anything to do with grief and death is my jam, and emotions.
Yeah.
And I feel truly that mediumship in the world has evolved. I feel that people who used to come to mediums like myself in the times of my TV show, I just want to communicate with my loved one. Well,
Right.
that's great. But now let me help you move through that and work on your body, work on the identity of where it is on you. Let's work on new identities, because grief and mediumship has now evolved and there's much more an awareness of it. And we are no longer hiding just behind the biblical form of, oh, you can't speak to dead people. I'm like, no, we can't. Now let's help you heal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. As you were talking, I had forgotten that we had talked about my father's passing, and you connected. And you walked me through what took place, what I had always thought had taken place. You
Right.
confirmed that, and it brought enormous peace. And it also brought the knowing and confirmation. It was like every time you validated, I knew, I just trusted myself even
Mhm.
that much more. And I leaned in more, which brought me to in Sedona. You were doing a course. We were there. I think it was Joe Dispenza. I mean, Bruce List and the big hitters,
Yes.
they were all in the house. It was a power packed, I don't know if it was 3 to 5 days, but I stayed an extra day and did a workshop, and I landed in your workshop. And I remember you were teaching people how to trust their intuition, and you
Right.
you had a picture, I'll never forget it, of a gentleman in the middle of a field with a shirt on, and you said, "Tell me about his life." It was an exercise, and I panicked, and I'm like, "How am I supposed to know about his life?" And you just said, "Drop in and breathe," and I just wrote it out, and then you told me who he was, and I had my accuracy was beyond. I even went beyond the accuracy. And do you still do those exercises in courses?
I love them. I love teaching, and I often use things from my life because obviously I can relate to it and I can validate it.
Yeah.
But yes, I do a lot of teaching. I think one of the things that I'm meant to do on this world is to teach. And, so I always say, if you're looking for a teacher, the teacher will always show up when you need it.
Oh, yes.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. And some of what the greatest thing is when I see some of my students going on and doing things that they never even thought they could even do, or never even thought was possible. I'm the biggest cheerleader for every one of them, and I think it's great. So, yeah. Oh,
And that's just dropping in that I forgot. I think Jennifer Schaefer, I was talking to the other day, and I think she told me you were like her jam, like her mentor, like her everything. And it was such a great conversation we had. But I had forgotten about that too. So it's like you call in these people that are doing the work in the world at different levels. And, in the beginning, you called in a lot of celebrities,
right.
a lot of people that wanted to know answers on do you still call in? Do you still call in that?
So I do sometimes, it started to circle around again. And so I start calling in different circles and
Yeah.
different groups. And I've often been known as the connector. It's like I'm the catalyst.
Yeah.
So, I'll connect one person to another person, to another person, to another. And that's always been my life. But yeah, I've had this circle of celebrities, and I've had this circle of like real high-end entrepreneurs. And I've had all of these other different circles. And there's one thing I have to say is they're all the same. They all have the same
Mm.
problems, the same issues. They might just be more bigger or they might be quieter. However it is, they all have the same life. Every one of them needs hope, or every single one needs to know that where they're going is the right thing.
I love the fact that you just connected those dots, that everybody shows up with a similar problem.
Right.
And and usually wanting hope, needing not so much specific, the specific answers that they think they really want, but they want something out of it to bring them peace and
Right.
comfort. And I love the fact that you bring it forth and bring it into the body, expand there, and give them more than. And I do believe, see, I've forgotten this. It's like the more you talk, the more I'm like going through the process. I'm like, oh yeah, she mentioned my knee, and then yeah, I mean, it was interesting that
Yeah.
I would not have remembered that. And I love the energy medicine with the neuroscience and the psych. I think it's just a brilliant combo of using
It
all
is.
your gifts, and
Yeah.
you've evolved like right in front of me. I've watched you just claim more and claim more. Not that you ever weren't those things. You're just claiming them on a bigger level and incorporating this huge. I see this huge quilt in front of me, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
it can hold a lot. It can
And
hold a lot.
I think we get to an age where we're at where we start knowing ourselves. We really start becoming who we want to become, and we start recognizing it. And I started to do this back in the UK many years ago. Everything that I'm doing now is what I did back in the UK.
Yeah.
I got cornered as I should, what being on TV as the medium. And that's what I got cornered into. And then I slowly branched out of that corner and I made my corner a lot a much bigger corner, because I really wanted to embody everything. I'm not just this. I'm everything, and I want everybody to reap the benefits of what I have to share.
Oh, I love that. And I'm going to be first to say, you brought me right back. It was something you said that didn't pigeonhole me, because when we had that exercise, everybody wanted a reading from me. That, I mean, it went wild in Sedona. That was a huge breakthrough weekend for me. Everyone wanted readings, and I thought, I don't. And I remember you said, we had a conversation. You said, don't corner yourself. And I'm like, ooh, well, what does that look like? And I remember the evolution of doing that, being judged for that, feeling a struggle there, and thinking, nope, I'm going to create something different. I'm just going to learn to ask better questions. Doesn't mean I can't claim who I am, but I can do it on a different playing field that feels really authentic to me, where I can connect and share and heal and teach. And yeah, you were like the master guide on that for me. I mean, yeah, I didn't realize what a role you played until I started listening to you today. I went back and I'm like reliving it, because there you held circles of intuition, how to trust your intuition. And I want to say, I think that when you're born with a lot of intuition and connection, you might tend to second guess it, because you just can't believe the shit that you're seeing. You're like,
I know.
nope, got to be better than that.
Right, right, exactly. And you see so much, and you're actually trying. Sometimes you get into your head because you
Yeah.
try to unpick it, and when you get into your head, it's actually not going to be good for you. The more you actually go, okay, that's interesting, kind of do this little drive by, pop it in a journal, and sit back. The more things just drop in. Otherwise, we have a tendency to control,
Oh
and we
yeah.
can't control.
Yeah. So what would you say to the people that are listening right now and they're resisting knowing, resisting healing, resisting connection? What would you say to them?
I would ask them, why, what do you feel inside of you is causing this resistance? What is it within you? Why do you feel this
Mm,
resistance? Because,
mm,
it's not me. There's something inside of you that I've poked at, something inside of you that's been triggered, something inside of you that's
mm,
gone, it's been gnawing away at you and nagging away at you for a period of
mm,
time. And you are choosing to not look at it. And then what I would actually say is get a journal, get a pen and paper and write down, what is it that I'm choosing not to know? What is it
mm,
that I'm pretending not to see? What is it that I don't want to look at? Why has this triggered me? And just write and put a timer on for 20 minutes. I have one on my desk. I put this little timer on for 20 minutes and I will just write, 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 write. And I'll keep writing until 20 minutes is done. And then often I'll turn it off and continue to write, because suddenly things are churning up that I'm like, wow, I had no idea I was still carrying this.
yeah. So you gave yourself permission to unpack for 20 minutes, and it just opens and releases.
Right.
I
Yeah.
love that. So do you ever burn that or throw it away? What do you do after you write it?
You know what? Sometimes I burn it, and I'm all into ceremony. All right,
Yeah.
this is nothing better than doing a good old ceremony. But sometimes I don't. I
Yeah.
actually want to keep it in my journal, because sometimes when I am having a bit of a bad day, I will go back and look and go, Oh, wow. Now I remember. Oh, wow. And then I'll sometimes use it. So, yes, I can burn it, and I think it's really good, especially if it's really yucky and crappy and there. Uh, but there are some things that I like to keep because it's a reflection of how far I've really come.
I love that. So when people walk up to you on the street, because you're really well known, and if you're in a room and you're, what do they want to know from you the most? If they're walking up and I can feel they all want to know something. What is it they ask the most?
Back in the height of the TV show, they just wanted to know, is my dad here? Is my mom here?
Oh.
Blah, 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 which was that. Now, what I'm finding is that they're coming up to me and they're talking to me and they are asking me for what is it that you see around me? What is it that you see for
Mm.
me? And it's really hope that they want. Some people have been struggling with mental health. Some people have been struggling with spiritual health. Some people are struggling with relationships. And I would say most of the time, they are not asking for their loved one anymore. They're asking for some form of hope that their life is going to be okay.
Can you drop in that moment and see it? And do you see colors around it? Do you see any aura around it, energy around it, or does it take you time? I mean, I'm a doodler. I like to doodle.
Yeah,
Um,
I wish I could see the colors, I mean, I'm telling you, I wish I could see colors, but I don't. I need other substances to see colors. But 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 in that space,
Yeah.
if I just take a moment, if I just take a breath, and if I hold that person's hand, just sometimes a little word comes to me, a little something
Mm.
comes to me, and I'm like, "You know what? It's gonna be okay." Or just breathe, allow yourself some space, or it might take a minute, allow yourself that minute to grieve. Whatever I'm inspired to say at that time, I always allow spirit to guide me. I'm never going to make anyone's decision for them. Really, rule of thumb, never. I'm always going to sit with an hopeful inspiration at that point. And sometimes it might be, listen, it's going to get a bit messy, but just keep breathing through it. You're gonna get through it, and things are gonna be so much better on the outcome. And sometimes knowing it's gonna be better on the outcome will give somebody the hope to get through that day, and that's all that matters.
I love that. Is it fair to ask you what do you see around energy do you see around me right now?
Oh, well, there's a good idea. Okay, all right, I will do that. So
Put
let
me
me
in like a hot seat. I always hated they put me on a hot seat on a
I love
South Africa show yesterday. I'm like, "You didn't tell me that you were gonna do that," but I thought, "Okay, I'll do it." Yeah.
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 I think it's great. All right, so as I drop in,
Mhm.
allow myself to, so I am drawn to your left-hand side. I think it's the left-hand side. And what I actually feel, and it's funny because when you showed me the dime earlier, I was like, oh, that's dad. But then you reminded me that dad had crossed. What it feels like is there's a massive opening for you. It's almost like everything is opening up. And what I'm also being shown is um, this book has to be, I want to say you've got to chase the book. You've got to chase the book. You can't just let it open and not do anything with it. You've got to keep chasing it, chasing it, chasing it, because that's actually what's going to be a launching pad and a leverage for you.
Mm.
Um, I feel, and I feel like that is going to be really significant. And I also feel, are you thinking about doing a lot more media, a lot bigger things in the media?
It is absolutely yeah, it's unfolding right now. It's like I didn't anticipate that, but it's like here, and it's like, "Oh, okay." And it's going global on me. So it's
There's
yeah,
a
crazy that you picked up on that. Yeah.
There's a big opening in the media. And I don't know where you are in your relationships or anything, if you're single or what, but it feels like there's a big opening in the media, which is actually going to bring also a relationship security as well. So there's this element that if I don't know whether you're single or not, but it feels to me as though if you are, there's a relationship that's going to come in. If you're not, there's more of a security in that relationship because I'm seeing this media opportunity, but there's this personal life that you're going to keep very, very close to you and be very it's almost going to be anchored in. You're going to be very, but this is a learning curve. This relationship is going to be a massive learning curve for you and quite scary. And I mean that in a really loving way because everything else is blowing up here and you don't want to lose sight of this. And so you're going to have this, you know, uncertainty about what you want. And I'm just going to say, let this unfold because this is actually beautiful. And this actually relies on trust. this relationship.
Wow, and isn't that funny? I have trust the process behind me. Wow, how accurate was that? I mean, just
I don't know, was it?
another little sign, and
There
the
you go.
girls are the way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How accurate was that? I mean, how could you possibly have known? We didn't talk about any of that.
No.
Day I felt like I can't hold space for all this. What's happening? And I thought, just breathe. And then I went in and I started roasting some peppers in my kitchen. It's like I had
Yeah.
5 minutes and I started cooking because that's how I ground.
Right. Well, sometimes that's all we need. I
Yeah.
go sit at my piano. Sometimes I just need to
Yeah.
sit, twinkle out a tune, and it's like,
Yeah, it's never to reach out for more, it's always to pull it in and walk in my garden, pick a tomato, smell some basil, do something to ground me, but I love that. I love the accuracy of that too. Wow.
well, I want to know how it unfolds.
You're so gifted. You're so
Like,
hey, what feels like love in your life right now?
what feels like love in my life is my husband.
Mm.
And it's so cliche. The reason is, he's just leaving the army. He's after doing 20 years of service. He is in this like real transition of his life.
Yeah.
And finally, we are actually able to spend some time together. In the next 2 months, we'll be spending because I've been disappearing and he's been disappearing, and there's been lots of this.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've been on that journey with you, so, from the beginning. So, and I remember so this is incredible news. I love.
yeah, it really is. And, I actually said to him recently, I said, don't ask me. I was at the lowest of lows, and I said, don't ask me what I need you to do. Don't ask me why. I need you just to show up and deal with this situation. And
Mm.
he went, okay, get a flight. And I'm going to tell you, I have never felt so much gratitude and love for anybody that I did in that moment. He showed up, he took care of things.
Mm.
And for me, what it did was I saw what when I surrendered and allowed myself to be completely vulnerable, I saw somebody step up for me. And it took a lot, and I was at the lowest of lows. But in that moment, wow. And so when you say, what does love look like for me? It is my husband. It is actually being able to be vulnerable in a space of complete authenticity and complete integrity, and just to completely open myself and say, hey, I'm struggling here, and let somebody else carry me. Because, somebody might be listening to this and saying, no, well, that's great, Lisa. You've got a great husband. But there are going to be people out there that want to show up for you. You just have to say, hey, I'm struggling. Because in that moment, people want to show up for you because they love you. And you may not realize it, but this is your opportunity to say, have permission to say, I can do it. And I think that is what love is it's showing up unconditionally.
Oh, I love that. There's so many people out there that don't want to ask for help, including, I mean, I recognize this too, a little bit of an ADHD control freak, type A, and releasing that vulnerability is what I teach, but I teach it because it's my biggest struggle,
Right.
to not grab a hold and want to control it all. But wow, how powerful to be vulnerable and just surrender and lean into someone. I could feel that as you were talking about it.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
It was not easy. It was not easy.
No, I bet that wasn't easy for you. I bet that wasn't. Okay, how can people find you? What do you got going on? Any gigs? Can they meet you live? What does this year look like for you?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So they can go to lisawilliams.com. If
Okay.
you do want a free gift, go to lisawilliams.com/free gift. I am going to Norway, so I'm going to be in Norway. I'm going to be all over the place. I'm letting the year unfold, and I've decided that the second part of the year, I'm actually letting it unfold in exactly how it wants to be. I have zero plans other than Norway. When I come back, I'm letting it all unfold because I'm in the process of writing a brand new book on grief and emotions. I'm really just letting it unfold. So I'm always online. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, everything else, the normal platforms. But go to lisawilliams.com, you'll find everything.
Oh, yeah, and make sure to follow you. Where's your gym? Do you like Facebook more, Instagram? Where do you like to hang out?
So I do hang out on Facebook a lot. I do. I have a lot of followers on Facebook. I have a lot of followers on Instagram, but I'm now starting to kind of go into the two platforms. I think they all want the same. So yeah.
I agree. I agree. Well, I can't say enough about, yeah, and we will have all those links for everyone and we'll put them in. Thank you for showing up today. I mean, my heart just feels like it's just vibrating right now, expanding. I love your energy. I love your wisdom. I love how knowledgeable you are and that you share it with the world so freely. It's just so freely.
No, thank you.
Goals, anything anyone shows up for, you really show up and connect. And I can feel that. And that authenticity has always resonated with me. So I love you. I adore you.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, Lisa Williams. Lisa Williams in the house. You're going to want to download this, listen to it again and again, because you really said some very, very powerful things that are life shifting.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, bye for now.